Good morning and welcome to week 4 of our David study. And the theme for this week is David as warrior. And we will then look at Christ our warrior and then at ourselves on Friday. So today we come to a really interesting part of David's story. We have seen in the past, we all know the story of Goliath, and when we think of David being really bold, that's kind of what we think about. But we need to not forget that David was not fearless. Right? There are many instances in the Psalms where David admits to being very fearful. As a matter of fact, he is sometimes so fearful that it's almost debilitating. But fear is not what characterizes bravery. Boldness in the midst of fear is bravery. And so God uses David's boldness to grow him into a brave and mighty warrior. And as a matter of fact, he becomes so successful in his military campaigns that poets begin to write songs about him. So in 1 Samuel 18, which is where we are at today, Saul and David had been out, fighting some kind of battles. They've returned in victory, and so they're having kind of their version of a parade that's going on. People are dancing in the streets, and there's music and singing and celebration. And one of the songs says, Saul has struck down his thousands and David his 10,000s. And this ticks Saul off. His mood sours very quickly, and his jealousy so overtakes him that he tries to kill David with a spear twice. I am amazed that David even sticks around. Now, Saul does not want David to be around him anymore. He can't handle it, and so he makes him commander of 1,000 men, maybe in hopes that his next battle won't go so well. But God gives David and his men great victory, and once again Saul is so upset. But he is also fearful because he has now come to know the reason for David's success. He now knows that God is with David and that he's no longer with him. And we see that in verses 12 and 14. When we read the story of David, we tend to think that he's a pretty great man, which he was, but we need to focus on the God who made David great, right? God is greater. David was not a mighty warrior because for any kind of strength or power that he had in and of itself, but because God worked through him. God gave him the strength and the power. And so instead of thinking, oh, I wish I was bold and brave like David, we need to be thinking, I want to know and trust God the way David knew and trusted God. Right? We should desire for God to use us for the advancement of his kingdom in whatever way he sees fit. And for us, and for some of us, that means being bold in the midst of persecution. And for others of us, it means being bold and brave in the midst of in our mundane life. So, for example, parenting is not for the faint of heart, right? Raising little ones who know God's word, who love him, takes a lot of faith, a lot of wisdom, a lot of prayer, a lot of perseverance, a lot of us being in the word ourselves. Living a countercultural life takes a lot of boldness and a lot of bravery at work, in our communities, even in our families. So we see David as a mighty warrior, which he definitely was, but there is one who is even mightier, whose power works through the weakest, and whose battle cry is one of victory and glory. And to him is where we need to look. So our challenge for this week is that we need to ask God to make us bold and brave in whatever situation he places us in, whether it's a time of ease, whether it is within our communities that we have, that people that we reach out to, whether it is during difficult times or during times of opposition. We need to ask that God works through us the way that he worked through David. So I hope you have just a really blessed rest of the week studying David and looking to Christ. I'll see you guys later. Bye.